People who practice and preach and the practitioners of identity politics, if they're able to succeed with their project, they could get the politics right, but do the country a huge harm. Because what identity politics is the division of the country into groups that are based on sex, race, national origin, even disability status, anything that confers a sense of victimhood on people, anything that can be used to alienate them from the United States, from the mainstream of America. And in order to change the country, in order to transform the country, that is identity politics. And it is it's a blueprint. It's a Machiavellian Faustian blueprint that, if carried out, could help a given political party, but it would alienate all these people from the United States. It basically, by the way, I'm just quoting them. I quote, as I did in my Wall Street Journal piece and in my writings, Maria Teresa Kumar of Voto Latino actually said in a webinar just 3 months ago, my job is really hard because I have to take people who do not feel any grievance and tell them how bad this country is, how much there's institutional racism, and I have to instill in them these ideas. But once they get it, oh my God, they become very politically active. So in other words, that what identity politics and its practitioners do is get people and instill grievances into them in order to change, to catalyze them to change the country. And that is what I think took a knock in a way in these last elections.
Let me drill down on that a little bit more, because grievance-based politics obviously catalyzes this kind of tribalism. But isn't there a space where identity politics and kind of not just to be looking for individual rights but group rights has done some good in this country? I mean, you look at whether it's protecting rights on the basis of gender or race. I mean, this is what animated the civil rights movement, rights for women, in a way that I think most Americans, all Americans, would say has been a force for good. If we weren't looking at gender or race, right, we would not have seen the progress we've seen in this country that we came out of the civil rights movement, or for the women's movement. So how do you kind of take that into account when you make this critique of grievance-based politics?
Actually, that's a very good point, but that is not what happened at all. The civil rights movement was predicated on equal treatment, was predicated on color blindness, was going to get rid of the evil of segregation in legalized discrimination, which existed in this country for a very long time and really hurt, was aimed at Black Americans and African Americans and kept them down. In many states in the South, it was illegal for them to do the same things that their white compatriots did. And the civil rights movement was a righteous, necessary attempt at getting rid of the Ferguson, Plessy versus Ferguson idea of separate but equal. What happened then is that this colorblind approach was inverted into a color conscious approach, and it happened very quickly after passage of the Civil Rights Act, and then all these other group activists. It was after seeing this that activists then convinced the government to officialize the creation of these categories. The census fights back under Nixon and says to the activists and the ideologues from La Raza, for example, we're already collecting this information. We're asking people, what is your national origin? Where was your father born? What language do you speak at home? What more do you want us to do? And the activists say back, we don't want you to do that. We want you to create a category of Hispanics and another one of Asian Americans. That it is very different to have a minority category than to have a national origin group. And then there's the concomitant idea that people deserve entitlements as a result of their membership in these categories that are, again, artificially created. The 31 genders that the New York City Human Rights Commission believes that exist are also synthetically created. So it's not I don't think identity politics, the way I describe it, is a grassroots demand for recognition and and respect. It is really grass tops idea. So yes, I am for the civil rights movement. I am for everything that it wanted to do, what it was necessary. It's the what was done afterward, going from color blindness to color consciousness, that I think has been a huge mistake. And I think
the goal, I mean, I get the distinction, but the goal is ultimately for equality, right? I mean, there are people, the civil rights movement was seeking equality, equal opportunity,
right.
And that continues to be so, to be the language of groups based on identity, to make sure that there's
no, they say, in fact, they say the opposite. If you read Ibram X. Kendi and you read Robin DiAngelo, they tell you precisely that. They don't want equality. They want equity. And they say equity is what matters. And equity, it becomes the functional opposite of equality. Equity becomes race-conscious, color-conscious policies that would transfer, that would distribute resources and assets to one group as a member of a category.